but today's Friday. We moved it because we had the webinar yesterday. That's your boy Lucci here. We got the professor there in the background, Mr. Roy Davis, and today we have a special treat. I'm actually gonna do this with Ezra here.
Oh yeah.
Right, Charlie? What's going on?
Yeah, well, I'm just looking over at the mailbag here, and I'm seeing a lot of questions that are relevant to Ezra, and this is kind of the shameless plug for the interview that you guys did with Anne Christina Lang. So I'm going to give a 1-minute explanation of that, and then I'll let
Sure.
Ezra hop on here to answer some of these questions with you. So, guys, we had a researcher from the University of Copenhagen. Her name is Anne Christina Lang. If you go on the site, sanglucci.com, you look under trading machines, you can see some of the content that she's written for us. When she was about to leave, she was embedded with us for a month looking at how automated strategies, high-frequency trading, stuff like that has affected crowd psychology and essentially just the way the markets work, right?
Yeah, she was like the fly. She was like the fly on the wall for literally 2 months, man. She was just there. She was literally just there.
She just watched everything. She said to me before she left, "Thank you. I think I can build a career on everything I've just learned from you guys in a month." And I was like, "That's pretty dope." So
We launching careers, baby. We launching careers.
that's careers. So, anyways, on the night before she left, I was like, I can't let you get away without getting an interview on camera with you and Ezra and Anon, right, talking about some of this stuff. So we had them sit down for like an hour. We had a film crew come in real quick, and we shot this hour-long interview. Editing is almost done. We're going to launch it. We're going to release it out next week, right? So this is kind of a taste, guys, this mailbag episode for what you guys will be able to see on that this week. And without further ado, I'm just going to give Ezra the fancy schmancy headset here, let him introduce himself in 1 or 2 sentences to the people who are new, and then you guys can hop into it. So here's
Nice.
Ezra, guys.
Ezra, what's going on, baby?
Yo, what's up, Lucci? How's it
I
going?
see you sporting the same hoodie. I like that. I think you have another color of that, don't you?
I do different sweatshirt. You know, I get a discount, but yeah,
You've
no,
been,
I keep them at the office here because it is so Arctic. I'm not
Oh,
gonna complain though, because I know come August
right.
I'm gonna be enjoying that. So
Indeed, indeed. You've been
I'm gonna
watching
get
the
the
World
desk.
Cup? You've been
Sometimes too.
watching the World Cup over there, man?
Oh man, I'm so depressed over this France game. I just hate watching France win anything.
Why is that? Why is
I don't know. It's the attitude.
that?
Hoping the Swiss
Nice.
will just.
Nice. Swiss is doing poorly. Switzerland is doing very poorly. They couldn't even score a goal. So, all right, let's get into these questions here, Ezra. We got one from Faisal here. Maybe Ezra can also elaborate and help this question. Since market makers use VWAP for executions, can we retail traders gain any edge by looking at VWAP? And let me throw in my 2 cents. Like the first time I was introduced to VWAPs, like I didn't even know what they were really. But when you want to put on a VWAP trade, for anybody who doesn't know, like you have to put it on at the open. Like you have to put it on before the open. So you have to either go long the VWAP or short the VWAP. And at the end of the day, the trades get closed out. And by the way, if anybody who looks at their tape at like 4 p.m., all of a sudden you see these rando like 4 decimal prints go off at the same price. All those are generally the closing VWAP prints for the day. So that's just generally speaking, how you would execute a VWAP here. Ezra, you got any comments on any edge here for looking at it?
Yeah. Well, so it's possible that what he's asking here is regarding there are a lot of broker implemented VWAPs where you can specify a certain time to execute them over. You can say give me buy me 100,000 contracts over the next 5 hours. Don't exceed 5% of the volume in this, and that happens a lot with options market makers.
Okay.
They take on a large option position and they want to hedge it with the cash instrument with the equity.
Right.
And they'll say to their clerk, do me a favor and buy or sell VWAP this many over this period of time. Don't exceed this much of the volume, and
Right.
and they'll put that on.
Is there a reason why they say buy or sell the VWAP though, versus just going into the equity and then just free and then just manually hedging the position?
Yeah, what it does is it's an attempt to eliminate timing as a factor. A
Okay.
lot of the time they don't want to time that play. They just want to take an average price over this certain
Got
number
you.
of hours, you know.
Got you.
And that's why they'll do it. Additionally, something that's interesting is, and so basically, look, you know, as a tape reader, if you
Yeah.
see that there are these periodic purchases or sales of similar amount happening at regular intervals, you can know that there's a VWAP program in the market, and you know it may be smart to get in ahead of that
Right.
once you see it. And one thing I'll throw out there for you guys, one thing that you know I saw people make a lot of money on in my last shop in the asset management desk is when a new name is being added to an index.
Right.
Okay, all the indexers put on like a 10-day VWAP
Uh,
so that they can scale
they
that
gotta
into their.
allocate.
Yeah, they have no
Right.
choice. They have to
Right.
scale into it. So there's a mandated, like, you know, 400 million
Right.
VWAP going on over the next 10 days. So do yourself a favor. The minute they announce or on the rumor when a name's going to get added to an index, get in on that. Ride it.
Yeah. Nice, nice. All right, so that's some good advice right there. All right, then we got a next question here from Chris Duhansi. And by the way, if anybody has questions who's listening in right now, go ahead and interact on Twitter. You know how to hit me. Any questions you guys might have, me and Ezra will bang them out. We got Chris Duhansi here. Going forward, as the markets evolve and technology advances, do you see HFT potentially overtaking the intraday hand trader, similar to what the computers did to some of the trading floors? And guys, by the way, like Ezra and I delved into this question in this sort of webinar series that we're going to launch next week. And we really hit this question, hard from my perspective, the hand trader perspective, and then from Ezra's perspective, the HFT perspective. But let me let Ezra speak on this. I mean, what do you think? Do you think the hand trader disappears?
You know, short answer, no.
Okay.
Okay, you know they were predicting lights out trading floors for decades. It's never really happened.
Yep.
You know, I think that there's an ecosystem that can support algos and hand traders. I think there's a place for all of them, basically. And I think that your sustainability as a hand trader lies in your creativity. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Creativity and adaptability. So I would totally agree to that. I mean, dude, I'm not going anywhere, and I haven't gone anywhere since I started. So all it is adapting to the new players involved, adapting to the new environments, and as Ezra said, being creative, with your strategies, going where that money flow is going, and changing it up when you need to. So that's where we'll leave that one. Q Million's got a good question here for Ezra. Do you think industry will take the road of statements in the HFT debate coming soon by saying we're doing algo trading but not high frequency? So substituting the word high frequency with some other shit. I mean, what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, I think absolutely, absolutely, refining and re-refining the definition of high-frequency trading because
Right.
it's so amorphous anyway. I think a very smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Step one is avoid, sidestep the issue by,
Right.
redefining what you're doing as algorithmic but not high
Right.
frequency but not toxic.
Right.
Basically, absolutely. I think you're going to see everything
Right.
all kinds of tactics, and that's a basic one. Sorry.
And by the way, guys, like Ezra is dope with the analogy. So let's see how quick like Johnny on the spot you can be. I mean, give me an analogy where there's been a horrible reference to a word, and they change the word, and now everybody uses it. Let's see what you can do. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes on that one. We'll see what you do, man. Yo, Q's also asking Heimboded codes by listening to Metallica. What does Ezra listen to when he codes? Like, what do you listen to?
I got your analogy, Lucci.
All right, let's see what's up.
It's not it's a politically heated issue, but that's where you get some of these best things. But very simple. It's the anti-abortion movement is pro-life. That's what they call it, pro-life,
Pro-life,
right?
pro-life,
It's not
pro-life.
that they're anti-abortion. Who's not pro-life? How could you not be pro-life? I mean, I believe in right to choose, and this is not the forum to discuss any of this. However,
Right.
it's a very clever PR spin because
Right.
they say pro-life, and how can anybody be anti-life?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's a great
So
analogy.
anyway, it's a little spin, clever little spin. So.
All right. All right.
so
So
that's-
what do you code? What do you listen to when you code? What kind of music do you listen to when you code?
Oh,
Like
that's
when
an
you're
excellent
fucking
question.
in the zone and you're banging like 6 hours of code out and you don't
That's
even take a break to go
absolutely.
fucking eat. Like what do you listen
Absolutely. That's what it's like too. You're absolutely right. Well characterized. All right. So, Basically, I listen to people, artists who are, killing it in one way or another, who are really trying. Eminem said one time, like, I just try to be as clever as I can
Right.
all the time. And
Okay.
that's why I feel like his lyrics are so exceedingly clever. And I try to put
Definitely.
that same, ethos to work in my coding. Basically, I try not to type a spare line if I don't have to, and everything I
Right.
do, I try and keep it as absolutely clever as I can,
Nice.
as much content as I can. And so basically, I listen to Eminem, obviously Mozart,
Yep.
anyone who's really just totally kicking ass in what they do.
Nice. Nice. Give us some other
It's
examples. So you got Eminem, you got some classical music. What else you got? What else you got?
yeah, Eminem, Mozart, Bob
Right.
Dylan,
Bob Dylan. Okay.
really, yeah, basically geniuses. I listen to geniuses. That's what it is.
No, I wish I'm gonna just start tossing musicians to you and asking you, like, okay, you
If
think this
they
guy's a
qualify.
genius, and you'll be like, shut the fuck up, Lucci. All right, so
Beastie Boys.
he's Beastie Boys. He's asking any thoughts on Advantage Futures. You know anything about this group? Advantage. It's a co-location server hosting service. AdvantageFutures.com. I never heard this shit. I don't know. Pop it up on your web browser
All
there
right.
and
I
check it
think
out.
I know Advantage.
Mm, I don't even know
Uh,
this thing.
yeah. Let's take a quick look here. Oops, I lost this.
Yeah, they
Um,
say home here for algo traders, server hosting. It looks kind of bootleg, the website here. I don't know. I don't know.
let's see. Well, basically, short answer on colocation services.
Mm,
They can be very useful. If you have needs and you don't have a team that you can send out to the colo to manage your stuff, but you have colocation needs. Shop around. You can get good deals. And short answer is good ones exist.
Oh,
I can't speak.
quick thing for most of the retail guys out there who have no idea like what co-location is. I mean, why would you need a co-location server if you're building an algorithm?
Yeah, so basically, if you have an automated trading strategy
Right.
and it's at all sensitive to speed of execution, speed of information that it receives, it's a good idea to house the server that hosts that strategy
Hmm.
somewhere close to the exchange's
Close to the
matching engine.
exchanges. Absolutely.
So colocation provides two things. Timely access to data as well as high speed routing of your orders, so you don't get tied up in the traffic on the internet if you're routing your orders from home.
Right.
And also colocation, which a lot of people one thing people might not think about, but colocation also gives you a certain amount of stability when you house your algorithm in the data center of an exchange. There are guarantees that are provided to you regarding network uptime,
Ah.
availability of electricity and
Right.
power. They have backup generators, these kinds of things. So if you
Right.
absolutely 100% of the time need to know that you have access to the exchange and that
And
you're,
can execute and all that. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's go on to anonymous question here. He says, "Hi, y'all are amazing. My question is there a video I could watch on the strategy of tape reading, teaching what I am to look for?" Well, anonymous, we have just the thing for you. If you go to YouTube and just put in the search bar tape reading, we're the first video that comes up. So watch that one, get your feet wet a little bit, and then keep going. SL's got plenty of content for you. We got Gun Guy here from one of my chat rooms here. Hi, Lucci. I'm interested in hearing what type of things you're doing to get your mental focus back on trading. Can you share the things you're currently doing to get back in the game? All right. Well, number one, taking some time off from trading, just not really trading at all, just kind of, just watching the markets and forcing myself to not trade. I mean, that's number one. And then number two, actually, Charlie and I spoke about this recently, is putting a more of a focus on trading. I mean, one of the things that I've been doing for the last 3 years is running several businesses at the same time that I'm trading, and that gets pretty complicated. So we're gonna try to come up with a system where I can slowly focus more of my time on what I should be doing. And relinquishing more responsibilities to the guys over there at the new office. So those are a couple of things. We got the last one here. We got this one's for you. Previously, Ezra said he uses C++ and C for his algos. He's asking why not assembler to be even more quicker. So first of all, what is assembler? I see the smile on your face, so I know you want to say something.
All right, good question. Good question. If you want to be absolutely the most low level that you can be, we could be writing in machine code,
Yeah,
and Muspet has recognized that fact.
yeah,
Muspet, it is very much about the C++ compiler, the C compiler, compiles you into machine code. Eventually they're basically the same thing, but more importantly, it's about choosing the level of abstraction that that both saves you a certain amount. Basically, there's a time trade-off, right? How many lines of assembler you have to write, how much of it you can keep in mind, and whether an object-oriented language like C++ lends itself to the design paradigms you're looking for. There's a certain level of abstraction that you need to decide. You need to optimize where you want to lie. And basically, I see code never as an end, but always as a means to an end. And so, that's what you have to look at it as. You have to choose the tools that you're going to use to reach that end. And for me, the proper optimization between low-level coding and speed of development leads me directly to C, C++.
to C++. And actually, I have a couple questions for you as far as just programming goes before we wrap all this up. I mean, is C++ the dominant programming language right now in all industries? Like, if you take a look at all industries, engineering, whatever it is C++ the dominant language?
It was.
Okay.
For some time, it certainly was. It's basically, I think, the most powerful language in terms of, basically the wide-ranging access it gives you to types and memory. Basically, there are a lot of easier languages to create, visual kinds of apps that are, now becoming much more
Right.
preferred. They're easier to learn, quicker to
Right.
master. And basically, with the bloating that we're seeing in computational speed, memory available, you can have these much easier types of languages, that rely on the fact that computers are faster and they
Right.
can hide the overhead that these languages require, the poor development paradigms that they generally lead to. They're you don't notice those as an end user because computers are so powerful now. Back in the
Right.
90s, we needed code. Code needs to be efficient because of the computers they were running on. C and C++, basically is for efficient, programmers ideally. And so, if a program was written like shit, you knew it in the 90s. Your
Yeah.
computer ran slow, your screen blinked, it sucked.
Right.
Programs written like shit now, you don't really know it because computers are so fast. They'll cover that up.
No
But
kidding.
for me, every single computational, every time every floating point operation that my processor, performs, I try to keep in mind and try to minimize those. But
Nice.
basically, the kinds of development that normal people come across, that's not as big a deal anymore. So they can use different kinds of easier languages, and for
All
that
right.
reason.
I got an analogy for you, man. I just thought of it when you said what you said. So you said a computer program written in the 90s, if it was written like shit, it would perform like shit. You would get slow and all that kind of stuff. And then you were saying, one written now, it's a lot faster. You remember, I mean, you know how to drive a stick shift? You know how to
I do.
drive a stick
I
shift,
do.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I drive a
So
stick.
you
Yeah.
you remember back in the day, stick shift. I mean, if you didn't work the
Yeah.
switch properly, right? I mean, that shit was turning off, right? And now you drive these like new stick shift, like you don't even have to, you just lean a little bit on it,
And it
and boom,
knows. Yeah.
like it just
Yep.
knows you going in gear. How was that one?
That's a perfect analogy of how technology, takes what was required, a finesse
The
activity,
finesse.
right? Working, driving my, I used to drive, I had a 97 Maxima for years,
Yeah.
stick shift, sport package, Bose sound system,
Was
and
it black? Was it black with leather interior?
it was champagne with black leather interior. and
Nice.
basically, yeah, that was shifting is a finesse. It was a finesse game in sports cars before, and now technology has taken all the
Right.
finesse out of it. So
Right. right?
Some cars you
So-
can't even shift from third to first, like in
Exactly.
Boston. You can relate to me driving in
dude,
Boston
hell yeah.
traffic. You got to downshift into first all the time.
All right, so last question here, and then we'll wrap things up. Like, how creative do you have to be with your, like, let's say, for regular programmers, right? I mean, if I go to learn programming, I mean, it's not just the syntax that I'm learning and all of a sudden I'm good. Like, I want to ask you, what's the level of creativity you have to be in order to be like a good programmer? I mean, programmers know the language. That doesn't mean you're a good programmer, right? I mean, how creative do you have to be? Like the level of sort of sophistication in the creativity side that makes you a good programmer.
I will, it's hard to quantify creativity, but I will say that the
Right.
creativity has to come first. The vision has to
Right.
come first. You have to first see your end product,
Right.
the end effect you want to create. You have to see what it is you want your code to do and look, basically, and then you have to have complete confidence in your talents to then create that reality, like when an architect or whatever, first he draws what he wants the house to look like. And then, he's got to then get in there and determine where the beams have to go to support that structure, make that happen. So, you have to have the coding is the structures and the stuff. You have to, the creativity, though, is the vision of seeing what you want to be. Then you have to trust yourself that you have the talent to
Right.
make it materialize.
Right.
But, you can have all the coding skills in the world, but if you don't have that kind of creativity, you'll only ever be a drone,
Got you. Okay.
And drones have
All
their own
right.
place. I'm going to be hiring drones. I'm nothing
Absolutely.
against drones, but creativity has to come before the development process.
It's just like the mediocrity of the world, right? They need to exist for a certain purpose. There's always a certain purpose you can get
World
out.
needs ditch diggers too.
All right, everybody, that's it for the mailbag here.
Thank you very much.
Ezra, for joining. And I guess Charlie is gonna hop in here and say his piece.
I gotta hop in real quick. Yeah, guys, or Ezra, thank you for doing that, man. Lucci,
Yeah.
that moment in the bar scene in Good Will Hunting when the douchebag, the asshole from Harvard, ironically, this
Oh
is
yeah. Oh yeah.
when he comes up and he tries to outsmart him, and then
Oh, absolutely.
Will Hunting totally shuts him down, and then Ben
Totally
Affleck
shuts
is
him
like,
down.
"You like me now?" And you're like, that's like how I feel half the time. People are like, ask you a weekly options question. They ask Ezra like a coding question. I'm just like, yeah, what's up now? What's up now? All right, guys. So what I want to say is we got classes starting on Monday, right? Lucci's boot camp launching on Monday night. We just kind of authorized Greg's our sales guy now, and we're letting him get a creative with stuff. So I'm just telling you, if you email Greg at sanglucci.com, you might be able to negotiate yourself into a decently fat discount there. They start at 10% if you're actually talking to Greg. So hit it up. It's obviously a great course that we got on there. If you want to know more about it, go to sanglucci.com. You can find more about it.
All right, guys, take care and have a great weekend. World Cup, baby. World Cup U.S. on Sunday.
6
Sunday
o'clock.
should be a good game. Take care, everybody.
See you guys. Thank you.